Hi, guys. Today I want to talk about loneliness, but more specifically, I want to talk about empath loneliness or the people pleaser version of loneliness. Now, there's a difference between loneliness and aloneness. Aloneness tends to be that healthy, serene, calm state of being out in your garden or alone for a walk to self-reflect or, reading a book. Aloneness is that healthy choice to recharge your batteries. Whereas loneliness is that horrible, empty, rejected, isolated kind of feeling that where you're just like, what can I do to get this yuck energy to shift? Now you would think that being lonely, you would go out with people, make connections, be with a community, and that would make this feeling go away. But in truth, it makes the problem a lot worse. You actually come away feeling a lot more empty when you come back to being at home. It's like, oh, the loneliness feeling. If you're an empath experiencing loneliness, I want you to check in about how much do you have your self-worth measured in what you can do and give and serve and help others. This is the thing with loneliness. Loneliness tells us that you have spent so much time putting yourself into other people's business, like into their, solving their drama, in their conflict, helping them be versions of themselves. You have put so much of your value and your focus into other people's lives that when it comes to that time where it's like, well, without doing that, the loneliness kicks in. Because, truth be told, so much of your value in who you think you are, your identity, why you're important, your self worth, is based on what you can do for others and how you can get that external validation and the praise. So, can you hear from that language that it's so much about the other person more than it is about yourself? And empaths tend to have this difficulty about receiving. Their energy is so much about what they can do, give, serve, help others. And the truth is, this has come from childhood scenarios where you were trained, inadvertently, you were trained to be able to help mummy, be a good girl, serve, do, help, not in a malicious way, but it was just at the, we do our chores first before you get playtime, or, we, stop having the, get up and clean, clean, do, or the other one, noticing that there's stress with everybody else and needing to help give to them so that there's peace in the house, maybe a little bit older child, making mum a cup of tea just to get her to calm down so that there's peace in the house, so that then you can go back to that alone time, the quality playing. For me, it was my drawing. But again, childhood, so much of your identity is created in what you can do for others to then get that sense of inner peace. And so this is naturally why we go into healing and wellness businesses, because our identity is in that natural ability, that instinct to intuit what other people need. What we don't realize as empaths is that those people don't actually know how to intuit naturally like we do. They don't know how to intuit what we need. And so we can get ourselves into a bit of a spasm or a knot, going, I've been giving, giving, giving. When will they intuit what I need? When do I get that back? Why do I have to speak up about what's important to me? They're not speaking up, I'm just giving. When when is that going to come back to me? And so then the relationships start to become imbalanced, the resentment starts to build, and instead of, you know, having that difficult conversation, mending that tear before it becomes broken relationship, we give a little bit more, we're resenting a little bit more, and then the burnout set in. Now, the burnout is quite an interesting thing because we have been giving so much of our energy. Our unconscious minds is like, enough. We don't have the resources to say what's important to us. But when people see that we're tired, exhausted, can't do enough, people are a little bit more, or they're a little bit more understanding. So they don't ask too much more of us, right? Rarely do they say, well, what do you need? How can I give? And so that burnout dynamic is also intertwined with the loneliness piece, the resentment, the overdoing, the inability to speak up. It's a whole chapter. It's a whole chapter. And the good thing with all of this is that instead of putting band-aids over the problem of loneliness, we have to go back and have a look at those difficult chapters when we were creating our self-identity, when we were creating our self-worth, and the beliefs that we've got in place that automatically want us to give rather than holding back. As simple as this is, if somebody's moving house and they ask you to help them, it's like, yes, I can help you, but I need to do these things for myself first. And again, as empaths, we're like, yes, we will help, and then I'll do my stuff. So it's a real shift in what's our automatic habits. The other thing with empaths is that then they feel guilty for not helping, for not being there, for not serving, not helping. And that guilt, oh, it just puts the brake. Like, I would rather be tired and give than have to untangle guilt. Guilt is its own chapter, and I'll make another video about that one. But in a nutshell, guilt is saying that the empath themselves has a strong value in things being fair, and it's fair if I give, fair if I help, and that maybe one day I'll get that back. The guilt says that I don't want that confrontation, the difficult conversation. I don't know, I'll just melt. I don't know how to tackle that. And again, all of those things can be coached in you. You have those resources. You just need to be able to tap into that. So within coaching itself, what I would do is I would be having a look at where did those beliefs come in that you naturally have to give? Where did those beliefs come in that you value yourself based on what other people say about you? I mean, even that alone will create a whole lot of rejection sensitivity and fear of judgment and stuff. It's like, when do you learn how magnificent and wonderful you are in just being you? When you get that, those takers that just take without asking and checking in with you actually start to fall away. I know that people talk about boundaries and being having to assert your boundaries. It's actually not having rigid boundaries. It's actually learning, raising your frequency. So those takers and those button pushers are not there anymore. You have raised your frequency so that it's available to those people. And then the magic starts to happen where you attract in people who have a healthy concept about giving and receiving. You're holding to a higher esteem, and then you start to attract in people who also hold themselves to a higher esteem. They respect their boundaries and their self-worth. They respect your boundaries and your self-worth. And in those relationships, you actually don't even need boundaries. You don't have to have rigid boundaries because it's just part of their self-worth, and the respect that they have for themselves is the respect that they expect when they go out into the world. So those people, those co-collaboration-y, creative, beautiful people can start to come in when you move the takers away. And of course, then when you're operating in that sense of friendship and relationship with people like that, you feel amazing about yourself, that you don't have that loneliness kick in. You don't need to be in other people's business to get that breadcrumb that you're doing a good job. Self-worth raises, and yeah, you're attracting in that. You're not chasing people anymore. It's you're stepping forward with that sense of empowerment. Yes, it can be resolved. The path to solving loneliness is not putting yourself out there with more people and more takers. The path is to actually come back to your self-worth, looking at those limiting beliefs, looking at your self-concept, looking at your values, and looking at strategies in which you can put yourself first, and then expecting the universe to bring in more of that wonderful energy that you can manifest and thrive on. It's a journey. It's fascinating what comes up when you allow your unconscious mind to bring up these negative programs. And then when your intuition steps in, it's like, yes, let's manifest in the fun. So I hope that helps. And I look forward to talking to you soon. Bye, guys.